Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week Matt Manning's on holiday, so you've got me, Peter Carr, guest presenter from the shooting show. First up, Stuart Wilson's out for a mixed bag of airgun quarry down on the farm, plus he reviews one of the best of British airguns.
So we've just come for a general airgun session, check out sort of vermin numbers around the farm, whether it be rats, carrions, etc. Maybe some of the feral pigeons as well. And just as we've come through the farm, first thing we've happened across in the first fold yard is a feral pigeon which we managed to nab. And then as I was walking down, there's various buildings with little windows that are there to sort of aid ventilation. Some of them still have the old rams on them, little like hydraulic ram when they warm up and move about. Others are disconnected, so you can actually move them around, which is fantastic. And particularly some of these end ones, you can see right through, straight along the roof of the next building through. So I'm tucked away in here, effectively in a darker condition. Whether it be crows, feral pigeons, whatever it is that you're trying to trim down, they haven't got the first idea that you're actually in here. Just spotted a rat down one of the gaps between the buildings. There's a couple of pallets of feed. One's lending itself to being a real good rest. Just with the slip on, there's a prop for underneath the front of the gun, so it's a real nice, easy shooting position. You can see down between the two buildings for any potential rats. You can also see up on the top of the roof to my left, and then all of the apexes along the way in case anything starts to move. I can sort of put the sneak on anything, but I've also got a good scan of the farmyard, particularly underneath one of the silos there. I've given it about 25 minutes and nothing's really showing. I think that any rats that are going to come out will possibly be out a little bit later, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pop the rifle back in the slit, sneak down to one of my squirrel feeders, have a bit of a check there, see if we can't get an opportune squirrel as we just see how the peanut feeders are going, and then maybe see if there's anything else kicking around the farmyard. It's always worth as you're snooping about the farm, peeping around these corners. You never know what's any rabbits or squirrels or bits and pieces. Take your time. Again, sort of, I think stealth is the key with the air gun, and even just this little bit of mooch that I've had so far, really enjoying it, and hopefully we can get close up on some rabbits. Our sort of belly's rumbling. I've got a bit of a hankering for a rabbit pie, I think. Sort of coming up autumn time, so maybe now's the time to get a bit of pastry broken out and have a bit of rabbit in, mouth watering already.
Stuart spots some essential pie ingredients, but he needs to get into airgun range.
Maybe it's just a shade further than I thought, so I might be thinking the pellet came in a little bit low, so just my bad on range estimation, just testing it. When we got to the squirrel feeder as well, it was empty, completely empty, so it's up with the plan of maybe sitting to try and tickle a squirrel that might be coming back, but we'll get that filled again. just come in a little bit cooler there, and I nicely got my jacket and cap back on, which is a good job because I'm sort of facing down this hedge here, and literally sort of behind me and across the way there's a rabbit had come out and just sort of sat there in the grass, so I managed to get snuck round and shifted the gun round without disturbing him. Managed to sneak a pellet into him as well. Yeah, it is a mixy rabbit, sod's law. Happy with the Daystate though, nice clean headshot there, flopped him straight down. A few kicks of his legs and that was pretty much him done and dusted, so back to the drawing board. Bagged a rabbit, but I'm not going to eat that. Oh dear. I've one other real nice spot that may produce a few rabbits, if we can get there in time for a bit of an evening stalk. The scope cam on as well, basically just a camcorder that's linked in with a mount behind the scope, so it'll give you guys a standard sort of camera view, might be hopefully a little bit wider, and then a crosshairs view, basically what I would see if I was actually shooting.
Stuart retrieves his first edible coney, treading carefully on the badly undermined bank, the main reason for the rabbit cub. Stuart sneaks off to find another spot to sit and wait for emerging rabbits.
Good big rabbit there. Wasn't a clean shot though. It did actually sort of run up and then it just made its way out into the field, and I've just seen it sort of flick over. So I'll go and pick that up in a minute. What I maybe think is maybe not the best idea to be using the scope cam at the moment, so I'm just going to whip the scope cam for a rest at session, and I'll just see if I haven't sort of knocked anything out of alignment. Can't complain at that. Being into position, maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour if that. But a rabbit come out within sort of 15 minutes. And then in another 10 minutes, I was lined up on a half-grown rabbit. And a bigger rabbit came in behind, so managed to get the bigger of the two, so magic. I'm going to call it a night now. We've had a real good session today. Started off in the farmyard, took a feral pigeon, no big numbers of anything, but just a real good sort of productive session. Nice to get back onto the farm. Farmer sees me dabbing some of the vermin, which is always a good thing. So took a carrion crow off the roof as well. Crows went absolutely bananas when that dropped down. There was a whole lot of jackdaws coming in, even more carrion crows. So there's plenty of stuff to go at as well. There's even magpies kicking about as well. I shot and missed at a rabbit as well. Managed to get sort of stalked into what I thought was range. I think it was considerably further, maybe sort of like 45-50 yards. So the shot went low. So and from there managed to sneak around the back end of a wood and got into position under an oak tree and managed to dab another rabbit. But unfortunately that was a mixy rabbit. So that was just sort of put into a convenient spot as a little bit of bait for some carrions, maybe at another point, or maybe some foxes. On my way back from there as well, dived into one of the buildings and was sort of maybe trying to get onto some rats. Managed to get another feral pigeon as well. So 2 feral pigeons, carrion crow, and I think I've had 4 or 5 rabbits now. Some of which, the good ones, will be coming home with me, and I'll be making myself a rabbit pie, which is kind of what I had a hankering for sort of mid-session, so steered me off the sort of squirrel path and onto the rabbit path. I don't know whether it was my tummy rumbling or whether I just had a particular hankering for it.
Stuart there, filling his boots. And now, the Airgun Show news.
This is the Airgun Show news, brought to you by the Airgun Centre. All eyes are on Rio again. This time it's for the Paralympic Games, which kicked off yesterday. We'll have no fewer than 11 athletes in the shooting events, most of whom are competing in air rifle or air pistol. We spoke to several shooters in the Paralympic camp. Confidence is high and a medal haul is a definite possibility. Look out for Matt Skellen and James Beavis in particular. Shooting is one of the nation's favourite activities to partake in national parks. In a national park survey, shooting came third out of 23 activities, behind only walking and observing nature. It's even more remarkable because shooting wasn't actually an option on the poll. People had to write it in manually. The poll also asked what people thought should be prevented in parks. In this poll, shooting came third from last. The badger cull trials will be extended once again this winter. 5 new areas across the southwest of England will be added to the scheme, bringing the total to 8 overall. In effect, this means the culls have quadrupled in scale since they began 4 years ago. Bovine TB is still thought to be one of the greatest threats to the beef and dairy industry in the UK, with an estimated cost of £100 million a year to farmers. And finally, we'll see you at the Midland Game Fair next weekend. The jewel in the Countryman Fair's crown, the Midland attracts airgunners in their droves to Weston Park, and the Airgun Expo and European Field Target Championships will make it more than worth their while. Come and find us on the Airgun Shooter magazine stand. That was the Airgun Show news.
This week's review gun is the BSA GRT Lightning XL SE in 22 caliber. BSA's gas ram technology power plant replacing the conventional spring. The major benefit of the GRT is smoother cocking, smoother firing, also quicker lock time as well, basically from the point of pulling the trigger to the pellet coming out the end of the barrel is quicker with a gas ram than it is with a conventional spring. Very difficult to measure, but should improve accuracy downrange just by the very fact that there's less chance of you moving off the point of aim from when you've decided to pull the trigger to the pellet literally exiting the end of the barrel. It does significantly tighten groups. Another benefit of the gas ram over a conventional spring is for long periods of having the gun cocked, a gas ram doesn't deteriorate at all. A spring, if it's left cocked for too long, it can have a detrimental effect. I know spring technology's moved on quite a bit, but gas ram, it compresses. When you're ready to fire, it unleashes, and that's it, end of. BSA's renowned cold hammer forged barrel, integral silencer, giving an overall barrel and silencer length of 14.5 inches. Good size moderator, should tame any muzzle blast to a small report. Onto the stock of the GRT. It's an ambidextrous stock. Pleasing pistol grip with checkering panels either side, and also checkering panels to the front of the fore end for standing shots. To the rear of the gun, we've got a nice ventilated recoil absorbing butt pad. It fits the shoulder well and does a fine job of absorbing what bit of recoil there actually is, giving a total overall length nice compact 37.5 inches, a nice pointable hunting weapon. The BSA trigger, it's a gently curved blade, two-stage design with a crisp let off. It's pleasing to use and it's got a nice let off straight out of the box. On the right hand side of the action you'll find the safety catch up and away from the trigger and also away from the thumb, which I initially thought was going to be a little difficult. After using the gun for a little while, zeroing, it's fairly plain that the index finger, trigger finger, comes off and very easily reaches the safety catch at the right hand side. It's a smooth safety catch. There's no clicking that would distract or alert any prey as you're stalking in, and it's very easily pushed forward for fire or pulled rear for safety. I'm obviously right-handed, so it's fairly sort of straightforward for me to pick the gun up, take my finger on and off the trigger to access the safety catch. Dead easy. Shooting off the left shoulder, you're ready to take a shot. I would slip this hand back so that my thumb, the thumb of my right hand rather, can get to the safety catch and move it on or off. The balance of the gun again lends itself to this. It's around 6.6 pounds unscoped, and with a little bit of extra weight off the scope there, it's a light pointable hunting weapon. This is a scope only air gun. BSA have added a aluminium rail to their standard dovetails that are cut into the receiver on the gun. This offers a very stable mounting point for your chosen scope. There are also pre-drilled holes in the top of the rail that will receive recoil studs that thread down through the mount, your chosen mount, if you need them. I much prefer this rail option to the sometimes dubious task of trying to get your mounts to stay put on the shallow dovetail that's sometimes machined into the top of these steel receivers. That's the main features covered, so it's time to get a target out and the chronograph out and see what they have to say. For a hunting air rifle, I'd be looking for all shots to be within a 1-inch circle at between 25 and 30 yards, depending on what my chosen zero was. The cocking effort is really sort of smooth, it's really even across the stroke, so the barrel detente as well is really sort of positive. Clicks in with a certain amount of security. Well, say the proof of the pudding's in the eating, not to sound too cliche if that's at all possible. There's a group there, probably somewhere in the region of about 20mm. That's maybe being a little bit critical of it as well. It's a 5-shot group at 25 yards out of an air gun that's pretty much straight out of the box. Popped a scope on top, and maybe if anything the group is just a shade lower, so if I was going to hunt with the gun I would probably take it up a few clicks, but I'm more than happy with that group. That was Air Arms field pellets. There are other pellets obviously available, but they seem real consistent, and yeah, I've done the business today. Over the chronograph we're getting an average of 572 feet per second. Stunning sort of consistency there, with an extreme spread of about 8 feet per second, which, you know, I'd sort of expect that with a, you know, a decent pre-charged. I'm really pleased with that, and I've got to admit maybe just a touch surprised at how consistent it was. Real smooth to shoot in the shoulder. Yeah, I'm capped with it, you know, really sort of pleased. I think it's pretty much got everything that you'd want. It's nice to look at, it handles well in the shoulder, everything that's there does the job that it's supposed to do, and then downrange, you know, stunning group, and it's extremely consistent as well, so I don't know what else, you know, you could want for. Coupled with the fact that it's self-contained, short and compact, extremely accurate and very consistent, I don't know really what else you can say apart from well done BSA. Chuffed to bits.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you're not a member of BASC, it's time to join now. BASC, looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been the Airgun Show.